Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms, and I am joined here with a very special guest. Shawn Moore, WhoDeyBaby, is in the house. We don't have Sam today because he's under the weather, but this is the season preview jumble talk. Yeah, all right.
WhoDeyBaby.
WhoDeyBaby. So we're going to go through. We're going to, I'm going to ask Shawn the same three questions that we covered in the last show, which was his biggest disappointment, biggest concern, biggest surprise coming out of preseason. We'll touch on some Bengal news, and then we're gonna give our season previews, and we'll give a preview of this game. So let's just jump right in. Just on the news, last episode we talked about how on the following Tuesday 800 players are being released, and the Bengals got to go shopping. Initially they thought they were going to get OJ Howard, but when they got a tight end free off of the waiver wire off of New England, and a quality guy at that, OJ Howard winds up on the Texans. I thought the biggest acquisition was this offensive lineman. I think Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, he's started, I think, 33 games so far, which he's got obviously has NFL caliber talent and can start. And offensive line depth is something that we've all kind of been wanting and needing more of. And I think it's a huge pickup. And you could tell that obviously the Texans were mad about the fact that they lost out on him and he left town. So there's some value there, obviously. So
oh yeah, well, it's one of those, like when we released Jake Elliott, and then we quietly tried to sneak him onto our practice squad, and the Eagles were like, I don't think so, and that was that. So absolutely, it was kind of the same kind of move. You cut and you gotta go and you hold your breath.
Yeah,
you just don't know. So and then we picked up a guy that's got some really the side that's going to be that has some real potential on defense. So I think we did well. I still would like to see somebody like Quentin Spain. He's still out there. I still would like to see him get signed. So we'll see. I was kind of hoping that, we picked up one guy, but I don't think one's enough. You can never have too many horses in the stable.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, it's Spain, I think, is one of those guys that we all have that soft spot in our heart as Bengals fans for, and we want him to, he's good. It's not like he's a bad player that you hold on to for sentimental reasons, but I would love to see him come back, but I don't know that that's in the plans at the moment. But
yeah, well, everybody wants Auden Tate back, and I like Auden Tate, but he kind of ran his course here, and getting him back into a very crowded receiver room. I mean, we didn't keep Pryor or Lassiter,
right
on our team. So it's like, I don't see, that's more of a sentimental thing with Spain. These offensive linemen, I mean, they're in short supply, and we saw our line in the preseason, our backup linemen, and that's it. So let's jump in real quickly and give me your biggest from preseason. Give me your biggest surprise in training camp. And then
okay, go
ahead.
No, I think for me it's Volson. I really do.
Oh.
I just think he didn't, when they picked him, I was like, okay, it's kind of just a depth piece, whatever. Didn't think much of it coming out of North Dakota State. You're like, small school. How's that going to transition in? I mean, 4-time national champion is always a nice little thing to have on the resume, but I didn't see him. I guess I thought, well, I'll get into the other part of why I thought things were going to happen when we get to the other question, but I just didn't see him making that jump and being able to perform that well. And he's looked, suitable in that line during the preseason. We'll see when they get the starters around him, if that elevates his game.
Right.
And he goes even better. But that was my big one. I just didn't see him cracking the starting lineup.
Yeah. And that led right to mine. Let me get your biggest disappointment.
It's Carmen.
Yeah, that was mine. Yeah. I said it last week. I said, this guy had every opportunity. We were all looking for him to make the jump. We knew he was a project coming in and all that, but I was so disappointed. And hands down was my biggest disappointment in coming out of preseason. And then
it doesn't seem like he's made a jump or any improvement. He's almost regressed, it seems like. And he even, in the preseason, playing against your second, third stringers and getting ate alive. I mean,
yeah, he was getting smoked.
Yeah,
he was absolutely getting smoked. So,
You just
and
gotta
then,
wonder what's not clicking or what, if he's something, I don't know.
well, he's, because of his age, because we spent a second rounder on him, he's been given, obviously your first, second rounders, they're given longer leashes than the other guys. They really,
Yeah.
they have more opportunities. And so it'll be safe. All right. Well, what's your biggest concern at coming out of preseason?
I think it all sticks right there on that line. It's still, it's, we have the new shiny toys, the new pieces, but I just heard it on a podcast today. It's the offensive line is a crock pot. It's not a microwave. So you
Right.
have to, they have to simmer together to make the good meal. And that's, they're all great. They've been great with their teams they are at. Now we're putting them all together. How long is it going to take for them to mesh?
Right.
Is it going to be immediate? Is it going to be, and then you've got that left guard is the wild card there.
Yeah. So, well, that's funny because that was my biggest concern also. I said, we see our second tier guys out there and they're terrible. I mean, they're just, we had, I think the last or second to last offensive line in preseason.
Yeah.
And I didn't panic because I said, well, but we didn't have Karos out there. We didn't, we didn't have any of our new shiny toys altogether. But on the flip side, these are the guys that are going to come in and spell. And our depth was terrible, which is why I was happy about picking up, the lineman from the Texans on release day. But I really would still feel better if we added Spain. It wouldn't be nice to know that if you're bringing in, the backup, you're bringing in backups, that you have guys like that in Spain coming in instead of a Adeniji and Carmen.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think Adeniji made improvements. I think putting him back out at tackle, his natural is
right.
Helped him out quite a bit. But yeah, bringing Spain in makes sense just because of he knows the offense. You're just kind of eager.
Day one.
Anyway.
He knows the language, everything.
Yeah.
People don't realize that it takes guys up to speed. Every team uses different verbiage, but when you're bringing someone back who was in the, who knows the playbook and knows the verbiage, he literally, he could play the next week.
Yeah.
So I still would like to see us, go out and add depth, but we'll see what happens. But that's funny. Your concern and your disappointment was exactly the same as what I said last week. So, let's hope these guys step up. Let's hope we don't have to go to them that much.
Right. That's the key. Hopefully you don't need those guys on the bench. They just get to sit there and be the cheerleaders. That's all.
Yeah.
All we need.
Well, one of the reasons why we had the season we had last year was we were one of the healthiest teams in football.
Yeah.
I mean, we really didn't have that huge knee injury, knock on anything, my head. Yeah. We need that this year because our personnel is as good as anybody. I think we're being dismissed, which I love. Yeah, I think Burrow is seeing that. I mean, I read today there was one group of analysts, they all had Buffalo winning it all of them.
Yeah, Buffalo is the darling right now. It's fine with me.
Yeah. Like I said, radar us.
Yep.
And put that chip, just get the chip even bigger on Burrow's shoulders.
Yeah.
So, because if anybody, when you say it's so hard to get back, teams don't do it, there's the Super Bowl loss hangover, you start throwing all that stuff out there, and Burrow is the kind of mindset that is okay, that motivates him even more because now when we do it, it's going to be even a bigger accomplishment. So that's kind of the mindset that we have there. So
that's like watching him all during the offseason. Every time he was doing, posting training videos or that kind of stuff. Did you notice the ball he was using? He used the Super Bowl ball in all of those camps.
Yeah.
So it's in his brain. Didn't use it, at training camp, but on his private workouts, he had the Super Bowl ball. I'm like, it's still there. It's in his head. He knows he wants to get,
Well, we're going to, if they make the Super Bowl this year in Arizona, I'm definitely going, being in Los Angeles. I mean, it's a 45-minute flight to Sky Harbor. I used to cover that territory when I did outside sales. So I know, so we're there. We're going to meet up. We're going to throw a few back.
There we go. Absolutely.
We're going to be in the Super Bowl this year. So, all right, well, let's get into our season predictions. Okay. And I can go first or you can go first. It's up to you. I know we're both going to have winning records for our guys. So the question is how many losses do you have, and who do you see us losing to? I guess is the big question. So
I just did this on Tuesday night on the Blind Tiger show, and I have two losses.
All right.
And I have them to Tennessee.
Okay.
And then I have them to Baltimore in week 18 because we're going to be resting all our starters.
Okay. Oh, I like your thinking. Now, out of respect for our division opponents, I have us as 11-5, only because there's going to be that Jet week. Like last year when we lost to the Jets, you were like, what? Especially with the lead we had. But the biggest brain fart was losing at home to the Browns the way we did the following week.
Yeah.
They'll back-to-back weeks. And we went into the bye week, and they came out of the bye week with this newfound energy and focus. And I had the pleasure of going to the game in Vegas, and I saw us beat the Raiders, and that was week, first game out of the bye. But there's going to be that week where they just are off, where they just don't leave the locker room, their brains stay in there. So that's why I have us on 5. But out of respect to our division opponents, I have us splitting with Baltimore, and I have us splitting with Cleveland. I only have us sweeping the Steelers. So I'm thinking 4-2 in the division. And then I have us losing I have us losing to the Bills. Okay. And I have us losing to the Buccaneers, and then, like I said, and then I've got the grudge game against it was either New Orleans or Kansas City. One of those games won't go our way.
Okay, I can see
that's
that.
Why I have us at the 11-5, but I have us losing 5. But I don't. I just think, like I said, I would love to say, hey, we're going to win them all, right? But I don't have. I've got us losing 5 games. Okay. So, but I still have us winning the division, and I have us going 4-2 in the division. So, but I like your Baltimore. I like your Baltimore loss better because I have mine at Baltimore, but because I have us going 4-0 to start. I was winning in Dallas, and then I have us kind of losing in Baltimore, but coming back and winning the last week. But if you're right, if we have it wrapped up, they're not going to play everybody already, so I like your thinking there. But all right, and I the New Orleans game is going to be a real interesting game because
we were talking about that too, that are the bright lights of Easy Street, not Easy Street, I can't, what's the main street?
Oh, it's Bourbon Street.
Bourbon Street, that's it.
We're living on Easy Street. We want to be living on Easy Street.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is somebody going to give, is Chase going to go and visit his buddies, hang out a little too much, that kind of stuff,
Right.
I don't know that. I think Burrow's too much of a homebody to go see anybody that way, but Chase may be like, hey, I'm going to go visit
my buddies
over here, and that kind, and then maybe not be 100%. Fully into the game, or a little need some liquids, some hydration.
Right. No, I got you. Yeah, no, alcohol's dehydrating. So yeah, I get you. No, I just it's going to be an enjoyable game for everybody, especially for Burrow and Chase, because it's going to be a warm welcome. I mean, they're not going to be booed. I mean, we as this this show and on Twitter, we have a lot of Saints fans that follow us now. We're kind of their surrogate AFC team.
Yeah.
So
Burrow just endeared himself to that city,
right?
And then Chase came along for the ride. It's not like Chase didn't do anything there, but it was them together, both here in Cincinnati, just is the perfect. LSU fans, Saints fans, like, we all love those guys. We're gonna keep them wherever they go. So
yeah, it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a warm reception. I don't think it's going to be. I worry this week coming up about cheap shots from the Steelers. I want to get out. One of the big things I want to get out of this game is I want to get out healthy, because I mean, if there's a team that's going to throw a cheap shot at you and take somebody out, I mean, this is the team. They don't have the personnel, so they're desperate. So TJ Watt's going to do something stupid. We already saw Aaron Donald has the ability. These are high marquee players, and they have the ability of losing their brain. To go and doing one of these and setting it aside. Because Aaron Donald shouldn't be swinging helmets.
Yeah.
Just like TJ Watt shouldn't have thrown. Remember the interception? And then TJ Watt looks around and grabs Burrow and throws him to the ground.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? And then Burrow kind of plays it off like it's nothing, but you don't do that.
Yeah.
So I worry about that.
Yeah, I feel it's the culture there. I just don't, I think Pittsburgh they're trained that way, it seems like, because it's always at least one or two. It just
right. Back in the 70s, the Steeler fans weren't the way they are now, because back in up until the Immaculate Reception, the Steelers hadn't been to the playoffs in 50 years. They had never even smelled the postseason their first 5 decades of a franchise. They're bashing us because we had this playoff drought. And so the Steelers in the 70s, the fan base was a lot more humble because they remembered being the doormat of the NFL. Right. But now you have an entire fan base that doesn't remember that they sucked at one point.
Yeah.
So they act like they never were bad.
Exactly. They're about to be for a while.
Yeah. Oh, I think so too. This is our decade. I truly see this period. I've said this before. I'm seeing all the makings of, like the Montoya draft, the Munoz draft. We draft all these guys in the late 70s. We assembled this line, and then we dominate the next decade.
Yeah.
The 80s was our decade. We unfortunately lost both Super Bowls, and they were close, but the Steelers were nothing in the 80s.
No, they just kind of, they hang around, and then all of a sudden they fester back up like a boil for a few years, and then they go away.
It's funny. You ever heard the joke, how many Steeler fans does it take to change a light bulb?
Yeah, it's 6. Somebody tell you how good, or leave it there to tell you how good the old one was.
It doesn't take any, because they won't change the bulb.
Yeah.
They stand there and talk about how great the old bulb was.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's how I always see the Steeler fan base now. But like I said, when I'm talking to Steeler fans, I have a friend of mine who I actually went to the Super Bowl with. And he remembers it. He's a more rational fan, but he's in his late 50s and he's been there. He remembers sucking before the Immaculate Reception. So the fan base scares me. So all right, so you've got us losing 2. I've got us losing 5. What do you see? Let's preview this game coming up here.
I think it's going to start off slow. I think just kind of get the feelers out. But I mean, I feel I'd said that Bengals by 10 is why it's going to start off just kind of creeping around, but then second half load open a little bit and then be good to go.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a very low scoring, maybe even a no scoring in the first quarter. But yeah, I've got us in like a 28-14, 31-14 kind of game. I think we really open this up. I think we dominate. Najee Harris has this Liz Frank foot thing going. So, they had talked about that he could carry the ball 300 times this year and all that. And I don't see them giving him that kind of workload. I don't think they're receiving core. And I think we have a really stacked secondary. I think we're going to step up and play well. I think we're going to get at Trubinsky. I think Trubinsky's going to he's my concern. I think he's going to be better than people think. I mean, this is like his last shot at a starter. This is it.
Yeah, I don't think their line can hold up against our D line. Their line is not, they're kind of our line last year.
Yeah. Oh,
so I think
it was funny last year. So we cut BJ Finney that we got in the trade with Seattle, and he immediately got signed and was starting for the Steelers. Yeah. I was like, your center is a guy that couldn't even make our squad.
Yeah.
I agree with you on the offensive line. So I think we wreak havoc, but I do see them doing a very slow kind of dance, feeling things out. I know Watt had an injury during preseason. It'll be interesting to see if he's 100% or not.
Yeah, because it was an MCL sprain, I think, because he got cut blocked, and it looked ugly, but he was all right. But
yeah,
we'll see if he's 100%. I don't know how bad the sprain was, but
right. Well, we'll see. Like I said, I know Trubisky's desperate because this is his final shot. If he doesn't win this job, and eventually he's only a bridge quarterback anyway. Everybody's looking to bring in Pickett from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I was talking to my friend, the Steeler fan, and he's telling me, he's going, they passed on a Pitt quarterback because they had issues about this hand size and all this stuff. And Dan Marino went on to play great. So they were not, the thinking by the Steelers was they're not going to let this one go by.
Yeah.
You know, they had a hometown kid right there. Is he perfect? He wasn't Joe Burrow. He wasn't Andrew Luck coming out of college, but neither was Dan Marino. And they passed on Dan Marino. How would their history have been if they had taken Marino?
Yeah. Marino may have actually got a Super Bowl at that point.
Yeah. It's interesting is that I think we get back, but there was an interview with Dan Marino where he talked about it. I think he made the Super Bowl in his second season. It was either his rookie season or his second season. You can put it in the comments and correct me, whichever one it is. But he thought that was the first of many trips, and he never got back again. He never even got close. They never even got to an AFC championship game again. I mean, they won playoff games, but it was always, getting to the divisional round and losing. And he thought, like I said, when he was young, he thought, oh, this is the first of many. He didn't expect to get back the next year, but he figured sometime in his career.
Yeah, eventually you get back, and
didn't happen. So, all right. Well, it's been an absolute joy having you on.
I appreciate
it's the second year in a row. So love to get you back out. Can you join us when the Bengals are on the road, or you go on a lot of these road games?
I can usually, because I have to go somewhere to watch usually. So I'm usually out and about when they're on the road.
Right.
So if I don't go to the actual game, then I end up at a bar down here or something, because I don't have the Sunday ticket, and being in Florida, we don't get a lot of Bengals games. Right.
Well, love to have you back on at any time you want to join us. We'll do the previews on Thursdays. Right about now, we're at halftime of it was 10-10 in the Ram Buffalo game, and we'll get back to that game in a second. But and then we do a recap right after the game. So obviously you're at bars, but certainly the previews. Anytime you want to join us on Thursday, you have an open invitation. I know Sam was disappointed. We were really looking forward to this. He was, we were really happy. We're going to have Shawn back again to do our preview. I said, oh, that's awesome. So absolutely. You have an open invitation anytime you want to join us. Just, shoot me an email, shoot me a direct message on Twitter, and we're there. So
absolutely. I'll come back on maybe once or twice, and we'll make it happen.
Love it. So, all right, guys, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's the only thing we ask. Just go ahead and hit that button on the bottom, hit the bell to get the alerts. Like I said, the season's up and running. So we're going to be doing our previews and our recaps. We're going to have Shawn back during the season as many times as he wants to join us. Sam will be feeling better. I'll have him back with the recap. So tune in right after the game. And with that, I'm going to say, "Who dey, everybody?
Who dey, baby?
Who dey? We're winning." Talk to you on Sunday.